Our meeting is now called to order. Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Chair, roll call. Councilmember Campbell.
Here.
Councilmember Garvin. Councilmember Mays.
Yes.
Councilmember Barnhart. Here. Councilmember Bakke.
Here.
Councilmember Thompson. Here. All right, we have one absent today, Councilmember Garvin. He did call me in today, and he is actually in a meeting tonight for his church that he could not get out of. So he wanted me to pass that along to you guys for your decision whether or not you would like to excuse him.
Make a motion to excuse. I'll second.
Councilmember Mays has properly made the motion to excuse Councilmember Garvin. Councilmember Campbell seconding. Sarah, roll call. Councilmember Campbell.
Yes.
Councilmember Mays.
Yes.
Councilmember Barnhart. Yes. Councilmember Bakke.
Yes.
Councilmember Thompson. Yes. Motion passes, and Councilmember Garvin is excused. All right, thank you. All right, so we will move on to public comment. This is your time to share any remarks with council. You have 5 minutes when you do approach the microphone up there. So anybody that would like to comment, please come forward. Just state your name. The audience at home can hear you, and the time will begin.
Howdy. My name is Owen Horn. I'm a local Life Scout, and so today I was just I was coming here to ask y'all, attend a meeting, get some requirements, but for the most part, I wanted to ask you guys, for my Eagle project, I was planning on doing a connecting trail from high school back to the okay, let me explain real quick here. So for our bi-weekly hill runs, we go across this stretch of road to the cemetery, and they have a hill that we go back and forth on. However, a cleanup on that road would not be sufficient enough to really remove any risk that runners come across. There are drivers that like to speed up, rev their engines, and so there used to be a trail that Coach Mike McHenry had made. He's the beneficiary of this as well as the school, who had made a trail before. And so my Eagle Scout project would simply be cleaning that up and installing a small, the way the bridge works is it's more of just like a land crossing that allows the water to flow through it while the creek goes under, people go over. And so I was just wondering who I would have to either get permission from or who I can get information from to make that possible. The main gist of the Eagle Scout project is just refurbishing this old trail, and the goal of it is to just reduce the risk that some runners are going through.
So let me make sure I understand correctly, and the team here understands. So as part of your project, you would like to kind of fix up or make amends to a current trail that connects from the school to the cemetery, essentially.
Correct. The trail has not been maintained for several years on end, and a few trees have grown up there that would need to be removed, as well as brush and things that can be removed by hand.
So are these larger trees that need to be removed, or?
We were looking at them. We can always come back to you with a finer estimate. However, if I had to give you a number now, I would say 1 or 2 medium trees that can't really be reliably done by handsaw.
Okay.
How tall is that tree,
We were going to pay a friend of mine to do drone overhead to try and get that kind of measurement, but truthfully, I am not sure the height of the tree. I can, once I'm back out on the trail, stake out which trees definitely need to be removed and get the height of them as well.
It probably connects on the backside a little bit. Maybe if you guys aren't to the concept, maybe what we could actually do is get him connected to Travis and have Travis go out there and walk because there's a little bit of risk, right, with insurance and if there's trees on our side.
Right, yeah,
Make
I
sure that,
understand. You know,
we cover our bases too as well. Anybody opposed to it in theory? Why don't we do that? Travis is out, this week, but he'll be back next week.
okay.
Ideally, it would be great if the two of you could connect and meet up one afternoon and maybe just go out and kind of show him visibly what you want to do.
Right.
And that way he can work through the kinks and maybe also provide resources to help you.
Yeah. We actually, yeah, that works. Yeah, okay. That's
Is
that's
there
all.
the trail that starts by the soccer fields and goes that way?
No, it's, do you know where the bus garage is on the high school property? All right, down that little slope, there used to be, like, you could kind of make out the trailhead, and it takes a couple switchbacks and then, kind of disappeared over the creek. It wasn't as, deep as it was when it was in use. And, it climbed back up and out the other side into just kind of this back area of the cemetery that used to be like wagon roads and things.
Fantastic. How about, I have you write down your phone number up here with
Sure.
prefer you not give it over the microphone. You don't want to.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to just spout it right
Yeah,
there.
let's not do that. If you write your phone number down, she will get the information passed along to Travis, and then when he's back next week, we will make sure that he reaches out to you, and then you guys can work out kind of the next phase.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, well, that's all I have to say.
Perfect timing too, Alan. You used your 5 minutes. Thank you. Mr. Hanson?
Jerry Hasselman. I was going to ask if you needed to help to spell the last name, but obviously I think you know how to spell the last name. I have a question that would kind of tailor my comments. Do you intend to act on item number 5A? So you do intend to vote tonight?
Yes.
Okay. So, according to your agenda, it's an ordinance authorizing and directing the enactment of a $10 permissive motor vehicle tax under section 4504.173 of the Ohio Revised Code. Since the language there says enactment, I'm assuming this is a new tax. Otherwise, it would say continuation or modification. And I also looked at my vehicle registration, and the current local tax section says $0 on all 4 registrations. The next night,
It actually was this is the second reading.
you're, so you can, go, okay.
Yeah, you can go all 5, or you can go 6 of them, and for a total of $30. You can go for $5. You can go for 2 of the 6, 3, you know. So there's 2 increments of that.
Okay. Do we have any idea how many registrations this would affect? Is it any vehicle that has a registration, or is it just a vehicle that has a motor?
For example, it doesn't impact boats, but it does trailers. It's the other one, campers. If it's a drivable camper, it's going to impact that.
So if I've got a car, a truck, a camper, and 2 trailers, it's going to cost me $50 a year.
Yes.
Part of my concern was the transparency of the process. If you say it was discussed 2 weeks ago, I'll take your word for that. I don't recall seeing it on a printed agenda, but perhaps I overlooked it. The only thing I would ask, I think, at $20, $50, I think a lot of us are anxiously awaiting what's going to happen to our real estate values, and what that's going to mean for our property taxes. Matter of fact, I asked about this week, and there's still no indication on when those new values will be available. And I think it was at the August meeting, Mr. Dodson did a presentation on electric generation fees and what that could mean. And I think I'm pulling off the top of my head, but I believe the amount was that the average household could see an impact of $200 to $250 a year. So I just think that I'm not sure how many vehicle registrations we're talking about, but I think that there's a lot of things coming down the pike that I just don't know that this is the time to add a new tax on village residents. And that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask one question about that?
Sure.
That just impacts people that live in the village, then that's not all Brown County residents.
Just a bit. Yeah. All right. So we are moving on and we are going right into that specific topic, which is the ordinance 5A. There was a revised section in there, that Joe had fixed, and I do believe it had something to do with the $5 increments. It wasn't spelled out with the $5, so instead of saying 10, it was 5, and then, a section there that shows that the total is 10. So you guys have a sheet in front of you here. And first and foremost, we have to do our second reading of that, and then we can discuss. So, Councilmember Campbell, can you please read that?
Sure. Ordinance authorizing clearing of motor vehicle taxes totaling $10 under section 450.
Did you guys come up with, was there a reason like to put that money toward like, say sidewalks to benefit our community? Was it deadheaded toward something specific? Or was this just to cover everything all around?
No, it's very specific for what you can use it for. So this specifically is for roads. So when we're looking at paving projects and like, for example, where we just ran out of money this last time and only were able to do, I think, 6 roads where we got 8, this is to help supplement the paving project.
All right.
Or
I think
paving
that's a
project.
wonderful thing, because we
But
have
it
a lot
can't
of
go-
issues with our roads.
Yeah, it's not as if you can take the money that's generated and put it to use for sidewalks, to, improve sewer pipes, or it's very specific to what you can use.
Well, I understand where Mr. Thompson is coming from, because I've got a lot of vehicles myself. At the same time, I've got a lot of vehicles with tires on. These roads are really rough. So that's why. That's all I have to say.
Any additional comments?
Yes, I would like to. I too, it would cost me $70. I'm agreeing with, Mr. Councilman here. With the upcoming, increases with all the taxes, property taxes and, insurances for most of the people who's working and everything else, just cost of living in general. I would like to see us maybe table it and use that since we know we can do something. And maybe discuss a smaller increment in the future, or maybe kind of get together and really talk about this and that kind of stuff for a near future plan to, find some other ways to save money and maybe cut corners other ways, without doing any kind of tax increase. That's kind of where I'm at.
Additional comments? Okay, next, all right. So I did some research. So in Ohio, 70% of municipalities have a local income tax, of which Georgetown is one. And only 11 states in the United States allow such a tax of local income tax. So we're already doing that tax. For additional permissive taxes is what it's called, a permissive tax, that can be added to the registration fee. They're added in $5 increments, which I said a minute ago. So in Brown County, we have 9 municipalities. This is just for Georgetown specifically. 25.6% are over 65. 29.8% of the residents are below the poverty rate, which is a lot. Usually small towns are about 15. Georgetown is compensate for the inflated prices and overtaxed American lives. 34% of people in America are living paycheck to paycheck. And also inflation rate has gone up 19% since COVID. So that was my, discuss in the future, maybe, hey, we're going to talk about this in 2 years to give residents time to, get ready for that. But I mean, if someone has, all their vehicles are already living paycheck to paycheck. Further discussion? If there's no further discussion, if someone wants to make a motion, you so can. If not, we will move on. Item 5B, an ordinance adopting regulations for solicitors and peddlers in the village. Again, this is the second reading as well as before. Let me double check that for a second, guys. I want to make sure that one is second reading. Mr. It is. It is. Okay, I think so. We had to revise it. Because we added it until, okay, fantastic. Thank you, guys. Okay, so it is a second reading. Councilmember Campbell, would you please read this by title?
Sure. An ordinance adopting regulations for solicitors and peddlers in the village of Georgetown, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Discussion?
What was the time?
That was edited. I think it was defined better in there. Kara? Again.
So originally they had it from a certain time to a certain time. I want to say it was maybe 8 to 8 or 9 to 9. But then everyone had discussed that they did not. That because.
Okay, the daylight saving time. Okay,
So then they had switched it to dawn to dusk.
that's right.
That was what I'm looking for.
And while she's looking for that, this is just a or section 3C. 3C is where that edit took place. And this is just an ordinance that, regulates for solicitors or peddlers when they're in their market to, first check in with the police. I believe there's a form they will now be filling out, and the background check, I believe, in some capacity. And that allows for able to communicate to the public, utilizing Facebook, that, hey, so-and-so is coming around to sell books. If somebody's knocking on your door, maybe even show what a picture of that person looks like. And as well, we also know who's in. Discussion. If no discussion, if someone wants to make a motion.
Make a motion to approve. Or not.
Councilmember Bays has properly made the motion to approve this ordinance with Councilmember Barnhart seconding. Kara, roll call.
Councilmember Campbell,
Yes.
Councilmember Consolman,
Yes.
Councilmember Baki,
Yes.
Councilmember Barnhart,
Yes.
Councilmember Mays.
Yes.
Ordinance 1377, 1377.
Thank you. All right, item 5C, take a look at page 10. This is the meeting minutes from the last meeting. And I did double check in there on the backside, notated in the meeting minutes where we discussed that for the first reading. Not that I didn't recall it, but I just need to make sure it was in the meeting minutes. Take a look at the meeting minutes. If there are any questions or edits, please let us know. If not, I will entertain a motion when ready.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Councilmember Campbell has properly made the motion with Councilmember Baki seconding. Kara, roll call.
Councilmember Mays,
Yes.
Councilmember Barnhart,
Yes.
Councilmember Consolman,
Yes.
Councilmember Baki,
Yes.
Councilmember Campbell.
Yes.
Motion passes. Page 14, the other set of work session meeting minutes. Take a look at those. If there are any questions or edits, please let us know. If not, when ready, we will entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Councilmember Baki has properly made the motion. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Mays. Sarah, roll call.
Councilmember Campbell,
Yes.
Councilmember Mays,
Yes.
Councilmember Baki,
Yes.
Councilmember Barnhart,
Yes.
Councilmember Consolman.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you, guys. All right, on page 18 in your packet, you will see the payment listing. I wanted me to be very clear with you guys, that if you see multiple payments to one company, that he's not writing that many checks, but he is, getting more efficient with how we do our payments and banking in general. So instead of writing checks, he's now paying things electronically, which is very exciting, I think. So take a look at that. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I will say kudos to Greg if you're listening at home. I think this is excellent that we are moving this along. Saves everyone's time, saves postage, is more efficient. Any questions? If not, take a look at page 20 in your packet. This is your mayor's court report. So just a reminder, if you guys know, we did pass in the last meeting as a savings to taxpayers in the village. We are no longer
Pay the, magistrate more since he's doing one time.
not to pay per session, so basically now we're saving 50% of our funds. Yes, very much. All right, on page 22, you have a report from our zoning code enforcement officer. Listing kind of what's been going on there. And if there are no questions, we will move on to roundtable. And no questions, I'm going to start with Mr. Bates to my right.
I had some questions for Travis, but I'll get with him since he ain't here tonight. And, the only other thing is, but I'll leave times because I'm sure they'll, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Other than that,
Well, you did set it, you set the ice skating event, correct?
the 21st.
December, so December 21st is when the actual ice skating event on the square will be. Mark your calendars at home. You're planning that. All right. Councilmember Baki,
I have nothing this evening.
Councilmember Barnhart, nothing. Councilmember Hobson,
Okay, so the trunk or treat on the square will be Friday, November 1st. Trick or treat hours are 6 to 7:30. So the party on the square will run until 9 p.m. We have 60 of the 70 spots filled for trunk or treat. So there are 10 spots available. You can sign up through our event page. There's a link that you just click on and you can designate how many spots you would like to reserve. We still have 4 food trucks coming. A new one that has come in is called Papa Bears, and then we have the Rapid Fire Pizza Truck, Mama Bear's Mac, which is like macaroni and cheese and red cheese, and Street Fried, which they have like chicken tenders and waffles and donuts. Sunny Days Lemonade will be set up selling lemonade. The Coffee Loft will also be open, coffee and hot chocolate and all their goodies as well. The Monster Mash inflatable, of course, will be set up in front of Lake Merchants National Bank in the street there. And we'll have a DJ in the Bicentennial Park.
lots of good stuff. I think it's important to say too, I've heard some questions on this, that it's still a trick or treat. So if your neighborhood or you're used to having your house hand out candy, none of that is changing. That is all still the same. You can trick or treat, go wherever you want within the community. And we are just adding a little extra around the square and adding a little extra time to it as well. All hands on deck helping that night. And we also have our motorcycles that do their annual short.
And the only other thing I have is November 15th is the throwdown.
Any questions?
See. I want to see what you guys think about letting the village employees have half a day off to make sure everybody gets out. And then, how do they work it with the emergency side of it? Make sure they're allowed to go vote during work hours, or want to do some discussing about it, see what normally happens, or, you know.
What time is this poll?
7 or 8.
So,
Yeah. I just think they've got time.
You put her- I mean,
You put your hours in, if you take off a half a day, you put your hours.
you still work a normal work week and everywhere else. It's kind of a incentive or appreciation thing. So,
I'm sorry.
no, I've just thrown it out to see if anybody would entertain the idea. Employees off after
You're welcome to make a motion.
I would like to make a motion to let the employees off a half a day for election day.
This starting.
Starting this election.
Councilmember Campbell has properly made the motion. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Barnhart. All right, Sarah, roll call.
Councilmember Campbell,
Yes.
Councilmember Mays,
No.
Councilmember Barnhart,
Yes.
Councilmember Baki,
Yes.
Councilmember Councilman.
Yes. And that was
4-5.
4 out of 5, so the motion does pass, so half a day would be 4 hours off. Correct?
Usually like lunchtime, leave it alone.
Okay, can you, well, I guess if Travis has any questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike, this is kind of, I'm asking you, maybe you used one of these. They're called a scar fire or scare fire. It's like a concrete planer. Just kind of stand up and you stand behind it. I was looking at a lot of these sidewalks, and I was wondering, some of them are just anywhere from a quarter to a half inch. You know, there's a couple that's, I know one like in front of Susan Bean's, it's really bad. I don't know that that would work there, but do you think using one of those things would take enough off to where at least pushing a stroller or something like that? What it is basically a planer, like you see would be in place. So you take two unlevel shelves and you could run it on the higher side enough, and it would make it at least a smooth transition, so you wouldn't trip on it or do anything like that. You use one?
I've used them and they do smooth it out, but the only thing that would be concerning to me is
That's what I keep hearing.
trip hazard, and then maybe we,
Like, yeah.
so it's a great idea, but I'll tell you something else you might consider. There's a company out Hillsboro now that does concrete.
Do they do the phone?
They do the foam, and actually I had somebody tell me the other day that they had it done, and it brought the corner of the structure up really nicely, and it was really kind of inexpensive.
If you know that or whatever, you could.
Yeah.
And then I'll let you guys know when Travis is not here, but I was gonna bring it up last time and I wasn't here either, but just to give you guys a heads up, it's on my radar. The curve by the cemetery on Mountain Pike, across from the rock, that berm's washing out. It's kind of a big drop off. Want to see about sending some guys after that. And then the same, on West Fork Road, the village has right out past the old golf course and then that bridge right there, there's a lot of, it's narrow and falling off too, so, there's a few other things I was going to get to Travis. That's all I have.
All right, Chief Enlow?
Just got back today, just got back from the Chiefs training last week. I was there with like 56 new chiefs from Ohio, from departments with one officer to Cleveland PD, who was with 1,300 and some officers. There was a combined experience, 100 years of experience, so it was pretty cool. Just update you on that. Sergeant Timmers is going field training officer school next week at Council10. And her and Captain Green is going to, it's called a Leading Blue Law Enforcement Leadership Academy. Leadership training. It's with higher level decision-making skills, leaderships in crisis. It'll be a good training for them. The state Ohio mandates that police officers do 24 hours continuing education a year. They pay us, they reimburse us back. But they will also reimburse up to 40 hours. So I made all the guys do 40 hours, so we have a little additional training, but we can also get a lot of money back from the state. We just got a check for 7,800. We can use that to invest in our training further. That's cool. So that will save the village from having to spend more money on training. Just a reminder, the hide and seek thing that's going on the 26th this Saturday. That's it.
Would you walk me through that again? I read about it, but what's the rules and what's?
But I don't know all, I don't have the rule than here, but basically we're gonna start at 8:30 and meet people, each individual that wished to participate had to come up here and register, sign a waiver. And I will begin the hide and seek, and basically it'll be that, we'll have a certain. There'll be things like danger, you can't climb on roofs, you can't climb and stuff, there'll be quarter sections off, police tape.
Did you get anybody to sign to use the new pepper spray gun?
And I haven't found anybody yet, if you want.
No,
But, yeah, so. I think they got. A lot less than what we originally thought. But, you know, getting people to actually come out and do things versus what they say. So 70's still good people.
That's
a lot.
That's a good start to be just to test it out and find out, you know, what the quick things are and what problems we have and what we can do better.
Yeah, and it's becoming a busy time of season, right? So there's a lot going on. There's trick-or-treats already going on, and there's things going on within this community and other communities. So that also takes away from people. But I think 70 is excellent.
They actually have the prosecutor's office sign all their employees.
That'll be fun. All right, anything else? All right, I hear congratulations are in order for you two as well.
Yeah.
There's a new baby coming in the in-law household.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be paying for babies with retirement.
She's Rocky.
Just a few things. I'm gonna pass these photos around. These were some photos I took in a fire we had over in Sardinia, and I just thought they were pretty cool. If you don't want to, firemen are weird. Anyways, just, you know, that was one we did. It was actually in Sardinia. It was a month or two ago, but it was a pretty good fire. So I just finished up 2 grants. The one you guys, the last meeting approved, the same grant writer that got us the $90-some thousand. So that grant was $1 million. It's to replace a 24-year-old fire truck and a 32-year-old ladder truck. If we're lucky, we'll get it. You know, it cost us $500 to try for $1 million, so we'll see how it goes. I also applied for a $50,000 radio grant from the state of Ohio. It's actually multi-jurisdictional grant with all the other fire agencies in the county. We decided to go together because usually when we do that, we have better odds. We did get this grant about 5 years ago, but you can apply every year. And with the cost of radios, portable radios, $5,000. So, you know, it doesn't go very far. We just finished up our testing season. So all the fire pumps, our ladders, ladder truck, all our SCBAs, the SCBA bottles, all of our hose, just tested and everything passed. We did have a few problems with pump tests, but there were some minor repairs that need to be made on the trucks. I got those fixed. I come back and retested them and everything went fine. So, you know, NFPA is on us every year, but we spend a large amount of money to test our equipment and make sure it works right. And we owe it to the guys that's lives depend on it to make sure that everything's done. So, everything was finally completed and everything was good. We have 40 SCBA bottles. So we have 20 packs and 20 spare bottles and we send them off. You have to send them off. So we actually send 20 of them off, get them tested, and they just bring them back. So, you know, we were without bottles for a while, but it was fine. This year for fire prevention, normally in fire prevention, we do, I think it's 3rd graders, you know, and we do 1 grade a year. Well, this year I found a company, and he's out of Carmel, Indiana, which is like a suburb of Indianapolis. And they have a fellow there, and his job that all he does is he travels the country, does fire prevention. And he has 2 Labrador retrievers he brings with him. And I thought, you know, this is kind of cool because we could actually do from pre-K to 6th grade. So we encompass the entire elementary school. And they bring these dogs in, and they were really cool. He'll get out there, and he did it. We didn't do anything. We just stood there. But, you know, his dogs do stop, drop, and roll. They would get out there and roll around, and then they would test doors for heat. You know, you're supposed to sleep with the bedroom door open, or I'm sorry, closed. And, you know, if you do smell smoke, you tested for heat, blah, blah, blah. They were going out windows. They were doing all kinds of neat stuff. And I think it was a huge hit with the kids because they were interacting very well and they just kept their attention. Where usually a third grader, you lose their attention after about 5 minutes. But we split up in 2 sessions and he came in and did it. And it was, they don't charge for it. They have a company that sponsors them that I'm going to put some stuff on Facebook. Long story short, I can't put anything on Facebook until the principal gets back with me because there's some kids in some of the pictures. She has to make sure that those kids aren't on the do not post list. So when she gets that back to me, I'll put it on there, but the sponsors and all that. But they did ask for donations and the department out of its a small monetary donation, but it was really neat. And I think they did a lot better job than I could have done. But those dogs are really cool. So we'll probably have them out every year.
You had rave reviews, and I got footage from the district office from people that were there. They sent us videos so we could see the dogs.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't leave the kennel webinar. But from preschool to 6th grade, that even 6th graders loved it. So.
They all got, and he took a few minutes to talk about dog safety and how to approach dogs you're not used to. And so they got to pet all the dogs and they were really cool. So, but I thought it was neat and it was worth mentioning, but as soon as I get the, okay back from the principal, I got some videos and things on Facebook. Kids thought it was cool. Our brush truck, 89 Chevrolet, motor blue in it. Actually the can shaft, I'm a mechanic, but it's not run. So, we're going to have it repaired. I'm not in, it's an 89 truck with 20,000 miles on it. It's fine, but it needs a new motor. So, I just thought I'd let you guys know that I think I got a quote on it. It was like $1,600. But it is out of service right now and it will be for probably another week or two, but we'll get her back on the road. Travis and I are looking at some squad options several meetings ago. I talked to you guys about our concern with the squad and he and I have been looking at some grant options that he and I are going to work on. But we're looking at something, temporary to get us through into the spring or what have you. So, I'm working on that. We talked to Kelly some, but we'll keep you posted on that. So, outside of that, that's all I got. Looking forward to trick or treat thing. Did you say it went till 9? I had a guy actually stop by the station today and ask what trick or treat was. He said, I don't know if he heard on the radio or something, but he thought it was like tomorrow night.
Something going on
Yeah.
there. I think this weekend, right?
Yeah.
On top of the,
But just keep your fingers crossed that we get those grants. Nice.
that'd be excellent.
And we're, was it 5% county match?
It would equate it to $30,000.
$30,000. Be the match.
Yeah.
And then, over,
So then what happens if you like,
over,
so then what happens if you like,